Hey Preston, how are you?
Good. How are you?
Good, thanks. USA had one heck of a season last year. What do you do for an encore? Do you have a thing or two in mind that you want to get better at, be more productive at, anything along those lines?
I always want to get better at something. I always got a lot of stuff to improve on. Even the things did good last year, I want to improve on those and be better. The things I did not so good, I want to improve on those and add those to my game so I can have, a stronger overall game. So I can go out there and have a better performance and compete for my team and produce for my team so we can get wins.
Hey, there was some stuff that came out after the championship game in January about how the 49ers game plan really focused on attacking the edge on the ground. I was just curious, how personally did you take that, what they were able to do in that game, how that affects your mindset this offseason, or is that something that you just kind of, shrug off and move forward?
You got to keep it in mind, but you got to move forward and get better. Of course, we know we do a good job on the ground in the championship game. This year, we got to do a whole lot better in big-time games and stopping the run and getting off the field and, helping put our offense in better positions to score and get them turnovers and get great stops to put us in a great position as a team.
Pet talked a little bit about, adding Rashawn in, working him in a little bit more and what that could do for you and Z as well. I'm just kind of curious, as obviously you're not going to give away game plans, you're not on the field, but I'm curious, what have you seen a little bit from some of these early virtual meetings about how your outside linebacker group, the three of you guys, can maybe work together as he comes into year two?
Rashawn's a guy that, he learned a lot last year and he improved on a lot going into the season and seeing him work now and seeing his off-season work. He always had a lot of tons of athletic ability that could have been, could have helped us a lot last year. But him learning the system and getting comfortable and finding out what he's good at in this league, coming from college and being a first-year player and learning behind me and Z, he learned a lot. He has a lot of athletic ability. He can always be plugged in anywhere and play a lot of multiple positions just like me and Z. And he can be a good attribute. He can be a good addition to, the defense this year, and he can bring a lot to the table to help the defense out a lot.
Just wondering, what is it about you and Z's game that enables you to complement each other so well as pass rushers, do you think? And also, how much have you talked during the offseason, the two of you, just about what you can accomplish going into this year, your second year playing together?
We always talk a lot, about improving and being, complete players and bringing a lot more to the table and, turning it up a level this year. We had a first time, last year was our first time in this new system, first time playing together, getting comfortable in this new system. And we learned each other pretty fast. We meshed well together out on the field. It's like we know each other so well out there on the field, and that's what makes us play so well together when we're on the field together. And adding somebody like Rashawn who knows us and we know him and, us all being on the field together and being able to communicate so well with each other and work on our strengths and, together and go out there and play, really well with all three of us or two of us on the field at any time.
Preston, can you hear me this time?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay. Two things. One, how did you told us when you first got here that you and Z knew each other to some degree, but I'm not sure I've ever seen in the long time I've done this, a dynamic duo come together as quickly as you guys were inseparable. I'm surprised you're doing this without him right now. So how did you manage to do that? And then how much did you guys stay in contact? Like, did you talk all off season a couple times a week? Were you texting other than the stuff that you were doing on the Zoom as a team?
We always talked and kept in contact, especially like before all this. If Z was in Atlanta, he'll hit me up. That's where I'm from. If he ever came near me and we'll hang out or we'll talk and see if we was, if our schedules can make it to where we can meet up and have, eat or something, go out to eat, have some drinks or whatever and just hang out. But they had messed well, but we talked a lot on the phone about, the upcoming season and things we can improve on and just being excited for what we have to come. We got a lot of guys returning, a lot of key weapons that, helped in our success last year. We got a lot of young guys coming up with bigger roles this year. Darnell Savage, Rashawn Gary, Ja, he's only on his third year and he's one of the best corners in this league in my eyes. And I just know, we got a lot of talent that can help us and a lot of guys that did a lot of good things last year that can, help us be successful this year. I talked to Z a lot this offseason about, how we feel like going into this season. And I talked to a lot of guys, this year. Kevin King was in Georgia and we hung out. Jair came to Georgia, we hung out. Anybody who came to Georgia, we pretty much hung out. Elton Jenkins, offensive lineman, we hung out, even though we went to the same college. So we always knew each other. But, this defense always, these guys just seem like they welcome us like we've been here for a while, not just only me and Z and us getting so comfortable with each other. The rest of the defense, it's like we came in and welcomed us with open arms. They welcomed our leadership, and they were just ready to get better, and we all had the same common goal. So it made it easier for us to come in and, be successful as a defense and as a team.
Preston, you obviously came into the league with Washington. You played there for a number of years. Were you surprised by some of the reports coming out of that building this summer? And were you surprised that they changed the name?
No. I mean, I'm not going to say no. I don't know what goes on that side of the building. It's like when you walk into Washington, it's like, you got the football side and you got the office side. I was always on the football side. I really went to the offensive side. I mean, the office side. Unless I was doing something, somebody was escorting me over there through that department. But I never seen it. I never witnessed it. I don't know what goes on behind the scenes. All I control is football and in the locker room. It's not too many women in the locker room unless they're reporters. So, I don't know what's going on over there. I can't really comment on it, because I don't really know much about it and I can't really vouch for it. Is it right or is it wrong? I don't really know. But, it's shocking for that to happen in any organization or any place. And on the team change, the name change. That's the way the world is going right now, and being politically correct in a lot of senses. And the name stood for something else. And how with everything that's going on, right, it just makes sense to, do the right thing.
How you doing? Speaking of, coming together quickly last year with so many newcomers, how are you going to try and incorporate Christian Kirksey? And do you think there's something he can give you that maybe Blake Martinez could not?
Well, I don't compare players, but I know Kirksey. I've seen him play a lot, and I actually knew him before he got here too. But I seen him play a lot of times just from knowing him. You watch guys, you know a lot when you see their games on TV. He was a sideline guy. He plays well. He gets downhill. He fits gaps, and he's a smart player. From being in these meetings with him and talking to him, he knows a lot that's going on. He's picking up on a playbook pretty well. He's just getting comfortable in the system, just like, that same transition me and Z made and a lot of guys who were new to the system last year. It's all about getting comfortable in the system and playing confidently. We're doing a good job of letting him be comfortable and helping him play confidently because we know, I know personally what he can do if he's confidently and he's comfortable. When you're out there on the field and you're comfortable and confident, you play fast and you produce. And that's what we're trying to get guys to, to be comfortable and be confident out there so they can play fast and produce.
Hey, Preston, you mentioned getting comfortable in the system last year, your first year in Green Bay. Is there something about this system that you think really suits you, or what do you like best about it?
A lot of, in this system, I'm allowed, guys like me and Z are allowed to be ourselves and it caters to our abilities and our biggest assets, and that's pass rushing and being, used in multiple ways instead of being one-dimensional, standing here and then doing this. It keeps a lot of offenses on their toes because they don't know what we're going to do when they see us. They don't know, Coach Pettin does a great job of mixing it up and giving different looks. So no team really has to beat on us. They can't really tell what we're doing, no matter where we lined up or what formation we might be in on defense, or the different looks we give kind of keeps a lot of offense on their toes and not knowing, what they're going to get from us.
Hey, Preston, how are you doing?
Good. How are you?
I'm pretty good. 2020 has a way of getting in the way of a lot of fun, though, from your tag team interviews with Z to fans in the stands. First of all, what's it like not being able to do things you want to do, like the tag team interview with Z? And then what do you think it's going to be like with no fans at Lambeau to start the year? I'm assuming that you would like to have crowd noise when you're at home. It's kind of going to be easy for the offense to communicate, I would imagine, home and away to start the year.
After my first year playing at Lambeau, my first time ever playing Lambeau last year, when I got here, just the electrifying atmosphere, every home game is going to be different because, it was definitely an advantage for our defense and the D train when we was getting going and the fans were behind us and the crowd was behind us to where, the offense couldn't hear what was going on because we barely could hear what was going on, but we did a great job communicating a lot, and even with the crowd noise, and we got used to it. And a lot of other teams that was coming into here, playing here, they couldn't hear as well as they wanted to. On their offense. So it definitely was an advantage for us to get lined up and, have crowd noise and us to play fast and get them involved and keep the crowd noise going. So it can be to an advantage for us. And then playing with our fans here, it's gonna be really different. but it's just something we got to get used to. We want to be safe. We want to have a safe environment so we can keep football going on this year and for years to come, because we don't know how long this pandemic is going to last. But we want to make sure we keep a safe environment for us and to play. And we want the fans to be here, but, it's the NFL. They're working on ways to produce a safer environment for them to be here and be involved and keep us safe and keep them safe so we can slow down the spread of corona.
Hey, Preston, you started off this with talking about your work in the off season. How did you make it through the year physically, though? I mean, it's the most football you played, whether it be the snap counts or games, a lot of snaps, I guess. How much time did you take off? And then did you alter any training, kind of knowing you might have to play close to another 1,000 snaps?
Nah, I just take care of my body week in and week out during the season and off the season. So I just keep the routine going, in the off season, the first month of the off season, I usually just, do a lot of more recovery and, cardio and, stretching to get my body back loose, get those, kinks and bruises out of my body from the season, from getting banged up and bruised up. I just try to work on that stuff, work on my flexibility to get me back loose and to, repeat the cycle every year, So it's all about taking care of your body, putting the right stuff in your body and making sure you get the right stuff out of it, So I trained and I ate right and I did the right stuff off the field, like as far as massages and recovery. I did a lot of good stuff off the field. So, just helped me get ready for this season up and coming. And, mentally, I already know what to expect. I played a lot of snaps last year. I'm ready for it. Played snaps the year before that, before I got here. So I'm ready for, the long haul. And that's what I condition myself for. And that's what I mentally prepare for every year.
Hey, Preston, good to see you. Working off that same idea, you've never missed a game in your career, if I'm not mistaken. It's been incredibly durable. You and Z played like you were around 970 snaps and he was 980. Can you be more productive with less snaps? Not that you weren't productive at all, but you know what I mean? Is there a less is more thing for you too, especially if you can get Rashawn and some of those other guys going?
Yeah, we got a lot of guys that got stepping into bigger roles this year, and get more comfortable in the roles. Could we be more productive? I don't know. It could be possible. It could not be possible. I mean, you never know. Just something you gotta go through. You can't hypothetically think about it because but us being fresher and have guys like Rashawn come in and Tim Williams, step up in bigger roles this year. It's going to help us stay fresh and have the coaches, when the coaches build confidence in them to where we can rotate and keep guys fresh, then you start to see a lot more higher production. But I mean, if me and Z get higher production, we'll be breaking records together and we'll be breaking a lot of records as a team.
Preston, my question was also going to be about playing with no fans in the stands, because from high school to the SEC to the NFL, you're accustomed to obviously a lot of crowd noise. If it is silent, how does that change the game for you? Do you expect more hard counts from when you're at home, or what changes to the game does that make if it is silent this year?
I mean, for both sides, it's kind of like a disadvantage because we get to hear, offensive cases. We can hear calls when they make checks. They can hear when we make checks. So it's kind of like it's leveling the playing field. Even at every stadium and every game is leveling the playing field because when you make checks, you got to make sure that those are the right checks, or if the offense is making a check, you got to make sure that everything you studied is right and it's not, and it didn't change. And you got to kind of play and make sure that, everything you studied is on key. And it's just going to be a lot of great tests you're going to have to face week in and week out with, cadences and calls you hear and them hearing calls and trying to be silent because you can't play the game silent. It's going to be kind of different getting used to not playing with a lot of fans after this past year. But, I mean, my first 4 years in the league, it wasn't that many fans in the stadium anyway. So it's kind of, might be kind of normal now again.
Preston, there's a couple of us on this call that had longer conversations with you during the season last year, apart from Z. And so we know what it's like to get to know you a little bit. But I'm wondering, he's got obviously a very big personality, and you kind of let him take the lead there. Now that you're more comfortable in year two, do we and do fans get to see a little more of who you are, or is he still going to be the huge personality and maybe it'll be a little bit harder for us to get to know you more?
I mean, you just got to ask some good questions and then you get to know me. But Z he has a lot of energy, day in and day out. So, I mean, he has a lot of personality. I have a great personality too, but it's all about the right questions, I can't even see who's asking the question, but, I can answer, better question and give y'all a little bit more excitement, but we had a tough workout today, so my energy's a little down.
Hey, Preston, hopefully this is a good question. You had a lot of sacks last year, both you and Z. You didn't have a lot of forced fumbles. Is that a point of emphasis, or is that just something that you can't chase and they kind of come if they come?
It's always a point of emphasis. Even last year during us getting the sacks, we was always trying to get the ball out. We worked that every day in practice with our Coach Smith. And that's what we put an emphasis on this year. Even Coach Smith said, like, hey, man, we got a lot of sacks last year. We had a lot of attempts to try to get the ball out. The quarterbacks just did a good job of, shielding the ball and making sure when they felt us that they protected the ball and they didn't get it out. I mean, they didn't let it, fall out of their position into ours or even hit the ground. But it's always a point of emphasis. We always try our best to, get the ball back for our offense, to put them in great field position and to get the ball back to help the team out, give us a rest, get us off the field and get the ball back so the offense can do their thing. We have a quarterback like Aaron Rodgers and all the weapons, Devontae Adams and Aaron Jones and MVS and, all the tight ends we have, Robert Tonyan, Mercedes Lewis, Jay Sternberg. We got a lot of weapons that we can get the ball back to Aaron so he can utilize his weapons and put us in, a great position to, run up the score, and then we get to have fun on defense.
Okay, just with no fans in the stands, does that, I know the sack celebrations are big for you and Z last year. Does that affect how you guys go about crafting those, or will that stay the same this season?
Well, my sack celebration is my sack celebration. I mean, but Z, him switching up every sack is it might play a toll on him. We was talking about it, so it might play a toll on him, like, not being able to be as creative for the fans and him coming up with a sack dance for each sack he had.